This is the Omega Seamaster Diver 300M 007 edition, and it is also the same watch Daniel Craig is wearing in his last portrayal as James Bond in the movie A No Time to Die. In this video, I am showing you its 6 main features that make this one a Bond watch, and at the end I will include the 2 most important things you should be aware of before buying one, so let's get started. So the first thing we are going to look at is the strap. The watch I'm showing you today comes with a NATO strap, which is basically a fabric strap. This version of the Bond watch is especially well suited for all the IVWC members out there, as this one fits smaller wrists much better than the Milanese bracelet option, because the clasp on the bracelet is way too long and doesn't fit right when you have smaller wrists. Adrian from Bark and Jack showed it in his video about this watch, which you should definitely check out after watching this video, which I will link for you in the description box down below. The most striking part about this NATO strap is its colorway, as it picks up all the colors that can be found on the watch, like the dark gray from the case, the warm beige from the hour markers, as well as the dark brown from the dial and bezel. It closes with a pin buckle made from grade 2 titanium, a titanium alloy that is much more resistant than your average titanium, and as we already know from Omega, this pin buckle is really well made too, and it feels very smooth. The second thing we are going to cover is the case, and at this point Daniel Craig actually had quite the input, as he wasn't overly happy with his previous Bond watches. Apparently the next 2 things were his main concerns. So the previous Bond watches were all full steel, which made them rather heavy, so Daniel Craig said that he'd actually prefer a more lightweight watch, because as a spy, James Bond needs something that doesn't trouble him too much when he's out and about doing his job. And so that's why this latest Bond watch is made from titanium instead of stainless steel, as titanium is only 57% as heavy as stainless steel, and combined with that NATO strap, it's even less heavier, which results in a super lightweight watch. The second thing he apparently took issue with was the fact that the previous cases might have been a bit too flashy. Daniel Craig wanted something less eye-catching and more subtle, which makes total sense given his job, and so that is why this time we are presented with a rather monochrome and matte type of watch design. The entire case is not partially polished but brushed entirely, and pretty much everything else isn't shiny either. All of this and the color choices make this watch a very smooth and rather vintage looking watch. Oh, and before we get to the next point, I want to shout out the new Bosporus Leather online shop that is now live with its entire product line for all of the German, Swiss and Austrian customers, amongst many other amazing products. Bosporus Leather was also my partner for my watch rolls, and so everything you can see on the website has been made by hand in Turkey, and you can choose between all sorts of different products and leather finishings and colors and so on. If you want, you can use my code Jenny when ordering to get a free sports case with every purchase. I use mine like a little watch tray when I don't want to wear my watch at my desk, or I use it when I go to the gym and need something quick and easy to store my watch in. So yeah, basically, if you reside in the EU and can navigate your way around the German website, feel free to get yourself the watch storage your watch deserve, and use my code Jenny to get a free sports case with every purchase. And I'm sure a lot of you want to know at this point how it wears, and so point number 3 is about the case dimensions. This James Bond Seamaster has the same case dimensions as the regular Seamaster Diver 300Ms, so a diameter of 42mm, a lug-to-lug of 49, and a height of 13.5mm. That means that this watch would look best on average to larger size wrists, so members of the IBWC like myself should really try this on before making any rash decisions. As you can see here on my 150mm wrist, I would say it starts to work out size wise at about 165mm, and everything above that. For point number 4, we have to flip the watch around and look at the case back. It is a bit disappointing that there is no exhibition case back, but this isn't your plain old case back either. As you can see, all these engravings, and here's what they mean. So I think I don't have to explain the 007 to you, and the 62 might be something some of you might be able to guess as well. It refers to 1962, which is the year the first Bond movie Dr. No was released. But after that, it gets really tricky. The arrow-like symbol you can see on top is the brought arrow, which marks any property of the British government, because it's a James Bond's watch, The 0552 is used to mark equipment from the Royal Navy, and the 9237697 identifies this watch as a certified dive watch. The A is from Omega themselves and lets you know that this has a screw down crown. And I think it is pretty cool that Omega went and got the permission from the British government to use all these identification marks, even though James Bond is just a fictional character, and it's even cooler that the British government agreed to it. Anyways, let's continue with point number 5, which is a very important difference to the regular Seamasters, and that is the bezel. It has the same color as the dial, and there are 2 things that are really interesting and special about it. First of all, it is made from aluminium and not ceramic like the regular Seamasters, which means that it might scratch a bit faster, but you also get this matte finishing and the added vintage charm from it. And secondly, the bezel markings are loomed, so instead of only having the hour markers and hands light up, you get the added glow from the bezel. I really like how it looks, and I think a loomed bezel should also be added to the regular Seamaster line because I think it works really well. And so the last point before we get to my conclusion is the dial. Just like the bezel, it is also made from this warm matte brown aluminium, and compared to the regular Seamaster Diver 300M, it has the following 3 specifics. Number 1, there's no date on the dial. Built inside is Omega's caliber 8806 with a power reserve of 55 hours, which is based on the 8800, which technically has the capability of a date, but Omega got rid of that. Number 2, instead of the date, Omega applied the same abrupt arrow we already know from the case back. And number 3, the hands on this 007 special edition are made from titanium as well and are brushed instead of polished, which obviously makes them less shiny, but they still stand out enough against the matte brown dial and beige hour markers. Right, now that you know about the 6 most important characteristics of this James Bond watch, it is time to talk about the 2 things that you should be aware of before buying one. The first thing is this titanium situation. Like I said, this watch is really lightweight, which is really something to get used to. And I guess what I'm trying to say here is that for some people, a heavier watch feels more luxurious, and they, even though they know it's technically not true, associate a lightweight watch with something rather cheap and undesirable. So if you are someone who enjoys feeling the weight of a watch but wants to get this Bond watch, I would really recommend trying it on first to figure out how you like it. And secondly, there is the price. Here in Germany, the mesh bracelet version is with 9,000 euro, almost twice as expensive as a regular stainless steel Seamaster Diver 300M, even though it uses more expensive materials like the titanium, and it has a no connection to a very iconic franchise. I am still having a hard time justifying that price, but since this watch did not just come out yesterday, there are plenty of watches on the secondary market that run for a bit less. All in all, this is a watch that is as high quality as the other watches from Omega, and I think a lot of Bond fans and non-Bond fans are going to have a lot of fun with this. It will be cool to see Omega explore a bit more into that direction, with the fully matte watch phase, a loomed bezel, and all that. But what do you think? Do you think this is a successful take on a Bond watch, or do you prefer the previous models? As always, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you have enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. And if you want to see more videos like this one, you can subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! Right, for all of you out there who have not seen the Bond movie yet and want to watch it and don't want any spoilers, click away now. I give you a couple of more seconds, but please click away if you don't want to hear any spoilers. And if you have seen it, stick around. Last chance, click away. Okay, good. How sad was that ending? I need to talk about it. It is so sad. I've watched it a couple of days ago, and I'm still not over it. I can't believe that they did that to him. And I'm so heartbroken. I went out of the cinema and I turned to Kai, my husband, and I was like, did this really happen? It feels like a dream that this didn't really happen and they did not just kill him off. I'm upset. I'm upset and I'm sad. Can we have a little ranking in the comments down below? Like ranking our favorite to least favorite Daniel Craig Bond movies. I would start out at like 5. I would go with Quantum of Solace because that was terrible. Sorry if you enjoyed it. I didn't. Number 4 would be No Time to Die. So annoying. Number 3, I think I would go with Skyfall for 3. 2 would be Spectre for me, and 1 is Casino Royale. That was my favorite. Le Chiffre is such a cool antagonist. I guess I just needed to vent. How sad. Please do not put any spoilers in the comments. It was like watching James Bond get emotionally and physically tortured for almost 3 hours. That really drained the joy out of me for that day. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for sticking around and for hearing me babble on about James Bond. Let me know if you disagree or agree with me in the comments. Obviously, do not spoil anything. And so, yeah, I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye. Why did I do that?